what are the major trends doing again this week? Let's get through this relatively quickly here since there's not a whole lot to talk about. We have the S&P continuing higher here after the first breakout had been hit. Now, of course, we were also long from down here, but we got stopped out in this area. And then we took a re-entry and now we're just long. This week took yet again another fractal here at that point. For us as the trend follower, we are just continuing to hold our long positions as this market does not show any signs of weakness. Down here we do have momentum going negative a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. As price continues to the upside, we have a really decent chance for momentum to maybe even go higher than previously and really show us that this is a new bull market. The only thing that is a little bit of a setback here in the US indices is the persistent divergence that we have in the momentum oscillator as well as this uptrend. We have prices continuing higher, but down here momentum will not be able, probably not be able to come on top of this hill. So on the monthly, it would really take quite some bullish action to take this higher. We still don't know how long and how far this continues to the upside, as momentum is building up a divergence. Let's wait and see for this. US indices in this regard, not too good. Despite the upwards action that we saw in most of the indices this week, the FTSE index did not really follow that. We have a negative week here. We're still on top of the breakout. We're still on top of the balance zone, which is again the place where price is going to be when it's correcting. And we just have to wait and see if there will be some strength picked up in the FTSE. This is very different than what we see in the DAX, for example, where we just move out and we move up and we are leaving behind all of those fractals, these resistance points here, and we are most likely hitting a new high. If we take a look at the Nikkei, we do have the same kind of scenario. It's very clear here, actually, at least for this week, that we bounced off the balance zone right there. We have two candles here this week and last week that really moved away from it, and we have the next breakout at these highs, and we're most likely seeing this new high right there above 20,000, 21,000, yes, the 20 to 21,000 area, and we'll have to see how far this goes. Taking a really quick look at the monthly again, we are coming out of a base here. When you take a look at ignore all the drawings, please watch the new video that I put up regarding my trend following approach, where I explain the whole trend following philosophy regarding this market and how you can follow it on other markets. However, here let's simply focus on how this was an uptrend, this was the correction, and now we are approaching all of these highs here in the 20 to 21,000 area. Maybe we are heading out, maybe this will be a completely new trend going all the way up to the 40,000 mark, where the old all-time high just around the 40,000 area had been made. We'll really have to see and stick with that. Again, patience is a very important virtue in any trade, and when you are riding a long trend, even more so. Euro dollar here really quickly, we still have no decision if the monthly chart is going to finally move through to the downside. It really takes its time here. It's been about 10 weeks now that we do not know what's going to happen. All of this area here is unclear. This week was staying inside the balance zone. We're closing red. We are rejecting higher prices there a little bit, but it's not too clear yet if the trend will pick up to the downside. We'll really have to wait and see in this market as well. Taking a quick look here at US dollar index, we are up and we are trading inside the balance zone too. We are rejecting lower prices here, and the possibility for this to come up again to continue what is a trend in here is quite there. Now compared to the euro dollar is sitting exactly on this kind of level here where the monthly breakout would have been. the US dollar itself already moved through that, so it will be easier for this one to make a new high and maybe then drop or continue. We'll have to see when it's time. In the euro dollar picture, a little bit unclearer. US dollar Canadian, we had said last week that this upside breakout here marked by the black lines had failed, and we are now lower this week. Most likely we are heading into an overall correction. As you can see here, we have 2 days left in January trading next week, and then the month is over. We see no rejection in this market. We see no rejection of the balance zone. It probably will just come down to here. We'll get our major correction in the oscillator, and then maybe we'll see it go up again. We don't really know where we are in major market structure, or again market structure in general, as we do not know where we are in the general kind of perspective that we are taking in the trend following approach, where we say a trend is moving, it will be corrected first by a minor correction, another up move, then a major correction and another up move. We don't know where we are here. We are simply following the prices, following fractals actually, and they are telling us now, and the price is telling us now, that we're not heading higher here in this market. For the last FX pair here this week, we have the US dollar yen. Now we did have this great turnaround exactly in the previous fractal area. We get a lot of candles with wicks on them, and now we are on top of the balance zone, but we do not have a fractal yet to break out from on the monthly chart. If we take a look on the weekly, there were entry zones right here. Price really moved our way, and now we have two candles that are bouncing out of the balance zone here this week and last week. Really nice actually. This would be a good new stop location because the monthly chart is not in a trend yet. It is only about to give us a fractal or even move a little bit higher before a new trend can be established there. It's only when the market has a whole lot of momentum that you will get a market move on the monthly without a fractal first. Now, we're always reminding ourselves that the market is slow, the market takes its time, it needs its time. That's why you have your fractals. Now, there is none on the monthly, and on the weekly, this might mean that we're going a little bit higher before we drop into it again, giving us a fractal on the monthly, then breaking out to the upside. We'll really have to wait and see for this. That's why for our entries that we're taking here, we are putting a stop below here because we are not in a trend on the monthly, as I just explained, and we're waiting just to be stopped out here, maybe get a little bit of a better location, but we'll just have to wait and see what that is going to look like. Now that's almost it for this week. We have British pound Australian left, of course. Still working, still short, even though we do see a bounce off of this area, which I didn't think would happen, but it did happen. Stops are above right this fractal, and now we'll have to wait and see for it to come down more. We are not really gaining momentum to the downside. As you can see, we don't have prices going to the downside, really continuing the strength that we saw here. But there still is the possibility to see this lower. If we'll eventually reach this area here, nobody knows. It may take quite a little bit of time before we can see any levels as low as the 145 area. Even though we seem to be pretty close, we have to watch momentum here, and we'll really have to be patient again for this to go as far. So patience to wait for the market to set up, taking the signal, and then again patience to really ride the trend is really, really important. That's it for the week. Thanks a lot again. Like the video if you like it, and see you soon.